Greetings, fellow speculators. There's a little prospect generation company I like to follow called Millrock Resources. Millrock Resources has always been focused on looking for gold, copper, large polymetallic deposits in Alaska. And recently they've picked up some projects in Mexico and New Mexico. They did a financing, they got some money, and they've really they've started some promotion. So they started posting on stockhouse.com, which I hadn't really seen from them in the past couple of months. It started showing up. So here's an article I was just reading on how project generator model has helped Millrock Resources succeed. If you look at this article on Stockhouse, I'll put a link to it in the notes below or description below. But at the bottom it says, under full disclosure, Millrock Resources, a client of Stockhouse Publishing. So you always have to take these with a grain of salt, right? But it's I think does a good sales pitch for Millrock Resources. So I thought it'd be good to look into Millrock Resources a little bit closer, and just looking at the price, pull them up on the markets. Last trade is 25 cents. So what does 25 cents mean? Where have they been? The last 5 years it looks like it was $10, but actually they did a rollback, 10-for-1 rollback. So in today's 25-cent environment, yeah, it was $10, but back then it was only $1. So they've been down off of the highs. They've been down since they started. They started this company and they went public in 2007. A really horrible time to go public. 2008 right around the corner. I mean, they hardly had a chance to get out of the gate before they just got whacked in share price, and they've been beat up pretty much ever since. So they've been using partners' money to try to prove those projects, and through the life's learning curves, I think they've honed in on more realistic projects, closer to the water, closer to infrastructure, maybe even closer to the sun, going south some, and probably have a better shot at making those projects happen. And so they're not the new little startup anymore. They've had a learning curve, and now their price is down and out, and their market cap is just under $5 million. And so what does $5 million mean to them? I was just looking up their financials. Their most recent balance sheet is dated December 31st, 2014. Let me blow it up a little bit. Current assets, cash and equivalents, $3.7 million. This is the end of last year. They got some security deposits and some stocks and little bits of this and that. They've got some liabilities of 800. Let's round it off. Let's call it $3 million in cash and equivalents if you paid off all their debts. So kind of $3 million with a $5 million market cap. Let's look at spending, because we're in May now when I'm talking about this, and these financial numbers are as of December. So it's been 5 months since this were posted. They've got a lot of consulting and directors fees for the year, $500,000 for a little company. General exploration, $450,000. They spend more in consulting than they spend in exploration. Investor relations, they got a bunch of investor relations in there for a little tiny company. Office, they got a good deal of office. I guess they haven't learned to operate from the road. They still rent office space, everything that goes along with that. Stock-based compensation. So $1.8 million. And we were just talking about $3 million after the expenses. So 1.8, what would that be? Maybe I should do it over 12 to get it monthly, because I think monthly, $150,000 a month. But I think we should take 1.8 and strip out this stock, because it's not really affecting their cash balance. It's diluting shareholders. And amortization, depreciation. So if we take the 150 between these two non-cash accounting things, what did it say? 150. So minus 0.15. We're at 1.65, and if we divide that by 12 to get monthly burn rate, 137 grand a month. If you can see that, so like you can kind of say 130, 140 grand a month. If we times that by 5, 687, let's round up just for some air, 700 grand they've probably spent if they keep going at this rate. So 3 million cash turns into 2.3 million cash at today's kinds of numbers. And if we go back to that market cap of $5 million, half of that $5 million is backed by their liquidation values. So it's a cheap little prospect generator. Now for $2.5 million roughly enterprise value that you pay for this thing above and beyond their liquidation values, that's like the price tag of buying their business, right? I mean, what do you get for that? What is Millrock Resources? Who is this? Why would I pay for them? If we go to their website, they'll tell you more about themselves. But I thought maybe we could go look at their presentation. They got a presentation. That should be a more of a visual way to try to explain this company. And I'll try to skip through notes and legal junk. And so they're looking for gold and copper, Alaska, Southwest U.S., Mexico. Prospect generator business. More notes. Looks like they got this slide from Brent Cook. Brent Cook is a really good newsletter writer. I highly recommend Brent Cook if you don't subscribe to Brent Cook, or at least follow him. He shows up in lots of places on the internet too. Great geologist, great newsletter writer. He created a slide that if you change the color of what these guys have, you basically have Brent Cook's slide. I think they took it kind of word for word, number by number and line by line, and put their logo on here. But it's not just Brent Cook that came up with this idea. This is an industry thing. This is a exploration concept. When you find something, the share price and value goes crazy, and then as you have to prove it up into production, it gets boring. A lot of speculators leave, call it orphan period, and later, as institutional money comes in, money that's not the guys that are actually investing it, but they have to point at something and say, hey, I'm investing in this because I believe in it, and there's all the data to back it up. The bigger money, not usually speculator money, but fund money comes in, buys these things on the idea, the cash flows that could come out of the production of it. That's the second wave of running the share price higher in these little companies after it's found. So they're saying they're in the exploration, they're in the pre-discovery, and they're hoping to make a discovery and jack up the share price on Millrock, something crazy that we can take advantage of as a speculator. That's my interpretation of this slide. Let's move on. Here's a prospect generation business model. You can learn more about that on ProsperousAdventure.com. I explained it in lots of different ways. This is their way of explaining it. Here's their partners, First Quantum Minerals and Tech Cominco. That's what I like to see. They've got these guys paying money to explore their properties, not just them using their money, but by them spending their money, they're saying they believe in the projects that Millrock has come up with, so much so that they're willing to pay and put their time and expertise up on the line to test those projects. If those projects don't work, Millrock gets them back. If they work, you got a great partner in First Quantum or Tech to pick up the tab and go drive those things all the way home. Because Millrock doesn't have the capital to hardly explore the project, let alone build one and take it full circle. And you've got these other guys, like they've done deals with Altius in the past and other companies in the past. They did a deal with Altius where Altius gave them money to create royalties on projects they might find in the future, and Altius keeps the royalties. They've gotten creative at coming up with funds to further their exploration programs. More notes. Exploration expenditures. I like these kinds of ratios, and different prospect generation companies like to present them differently. These guys use pie charts. They're saying out of all the money that they spent that year, the yellow is the partner funded. 2012, 2013, 2014. It's dropped as the markets have dropped, but they've still gotten a large percentage of everything that was spent picked up and paid for by the partners. They're talking about this financing they did. They raised money and they rolled the share price back, and they basically restructured the stock in this thing. It says 7.8 million market cap when they printed this. This is a bit old. They're saying who the major shareholders are. Management at 5%. Altius, Cranberry. Cranberry is Paul Van Eden and his financial company that uses Altius's money to go create those kinds of deals. And so it's some, I think, smart money invested in there. Sprott Global is who I used to work for. I'll let you make up your own opinion of those guys. I, I'm positive on them, even though Casey guys. There's a big newsletter writing group. Writes a great newsletter. Quite promotional. I believe it's their fund. Their KCR fund, I believe, is invested in this one. I might be wrong, but they've started some partnerships along the way with their subscribers, collecting money from their subscribers, pooling it together to invest in these kinds of companies. And I believe that's the Casey 9%. Tognetti is a big investor in prospect generators like Mirasol. You'll see his name in Mirasol a lot. He's another prospect generator. Canadian financier, brokerage guy, financial background, gets involved in advising these companies in the prospect generator style that he loves. Um, and on down the list from there, you got Kinross Tech. Pembroke was the who they just got the portfolio of Mexican projects off of. Here's the guys. Here's the main face of the company. If you call, you get this guy. I've seen presentations by him in person. Um, you know, exploration officer. This guy was big in finding. I forget the name of the one or two, a couple big Alaskan projects in the past. 8 and 10 year exploration programs. That come up with projects. Really smart geology exploration guys. The whole team's good team of guys. I don't know these guys so well. Alaska is their focus. This is where they're at. This is their backyard. This is where the guys live, and this is what they're focusing in on. This is their history. Um, Getting more detailed Alaskan projects, project by project, picture of a project, drill pad. Talking wild topography, no trees. Good things and bad things about this. Getting in and out of there. Samples, things they've found, more technical information. I'll let you dig into the details from there. But all in all, in summary, there's the Mexican projects, the portfolio projects that they got. This is a small company, the enterprise value of a couple $1,000,000. It doesn't take much of any speculation or positive things in one of these multiple properties to get the share price to start moving. And so if we watch this company really close and study the heck out of it, get to know their projects very well, when one of those projects starts to happen, we could be the first ones there buying shares to take advantage of it without really taking on the risk between here and there of owning the shares. Just studying it, maybe starting with a couple shares, but not going all in. I think this is a company that's run by a wise business strategy and one that we should definitely be watching. So that's why I'm watching Millrock Resources, and I suggest you watch them as well. If you're interested in watching them closer, Millrock has a little subscription page on their website. You can put in your email address and they'll send you updates along the way. If you'd like video updates like this, I suggest you sign up to my YouTube channel. Should be a link on the screen. Thank you for listening.